think I've been cussing since I was 8 or 9. But also, who cares? Be advised. Hey y'all, I'm Jenn. I'm from Oakland, and I'm an androgynous, black, lesbian feminist, and a lover of all black people.
This is Daren. I'm an asexual novelist, researcher, and bona fide comic book fanatic from the widest part of Southern California.
Orange County. We're queer millennials with 3 kids and nearly 20 years of marriage.
This is a podcast about the realities of blackness, adulting, and relationships.
This is That Black Couple. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm exhausted.
I am exhausted as well.
I don't know what it is about March. I don't know. I feel like everyone is overwhelmed and tired and exhausted and like overburdened.
I think it's spring. I think you're coming out of winter and
moving into spring.
Yeah, and you were like, oh, finally. But also, I just came out of winter.
And also, why are so many things due right now? Like, I just feel like everything is due. I don't know what happened.
The world woke up.
It's like spring comes and then everyone's like, here's a meeting on your calendar. I don't want to go.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Anyway, well, it's a morning episode. Have a seat, y'all. This is That Black Couple. I'm Jenn.
And I'm Daren.
And before we get started, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at That BLK Couple, on Facebook at That Black Couple, and look us up on the internets at www.thatblackcouple.com.
You can stream episodes on Google Podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, on SoundCloud, on every place that you can find podcasts. You can find us. And remember, Patreon subscribers get extra content that can only be found at patreon.com. So you should subscribe today.
Absolutely. This is episode 6 of season 4 of That Black Couple. And I want y'all to go grab, I don't know, get something caffeinated. I'm tired, and I feel like we just got to push through the rest of this month.
Something with espresso in it.
Something with a shot of something that will keep you awake.
Yes.
Yeah, energy drink, whatever you got to do. It's a rundown episode. We got a lot to cover. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, let's get started.
Let's go. All right, first things first. We lost someone.
Yeah, this first segment is a little hard.
Yeah, it's a little hard. I mean, unexpectedly.
Very young.
Very young. He passed only at 60 years old.
Who is it?
This is Lance Reddick.
Lance Reddick, and it's really interesting because I feel like I know this man's name. Most black men from that generation in Hollywood, I don't know their actual name. I'm like the dad from Greenleaf, or I don't know their actual name. Unless it's Delroy Lindo, because like who else is named Delroy Lindo?
Right.
There's only one Delroy Lindo. You know what I'm saying? But Lance Reddick is like I first encountered Lance Reddick when I was young. I used to watch really inappropriate TV shows for my age. But I was always obsessed with cop shows and prison shows because I hated prison, and I was like a little baby abolitionist, and I would watch these shows and I would be seething. But I discovered Lance Reddick on Oz, and it's a show that aired like around 1997 to 2003, and it was a really intimate portrayal of the prison system, and it was awful. I mean, it was awful and brutal, the things they were doing to folks on this show. But Lance Reddick had a really significant role on the show. I remember watching his entire character arc and fell in love with his weirdness and his very distinctive look. And it followed, his entire career. I just kept following all the works he did.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in so many things. He's so well known. I know for me, the most iconic role for me was when he was on Fringe.
On Fringe, yeah.
Partly because I just fucking
Fringe
love that
is one of the
show.
greatest shows of all time.
It's just such a good
it
show.
Just is.
But there's something about him so kind of mysterious, so kind of ominous.
Yeah.
He had that voice.
He looked real scary, even though he probably was a very nice man.
Yeah, and I think he was known to be a very, very
kind
nice
man. Yeah. But he always played these very terse, like police chiefs or, a deviant, a criminal. And I think that's so interesting because even though he played these really distinctively kind of bad characters or authoritative characters or patriarchal characters, I still really, I fell in love with his presence on screen and came to associate him with shows that I would probably be interested in watching. Yeah,
it's just, you could always expect his performance to be top tier.
Absolutely.
It didn't matter how big or small his role was. You knew it was going to be top tier every time.
So I want to talk about this because he passed away this week, and the family said he died of natural causes. And I think there's something to that, right? Obviously I'm a black feminist, a black queer feminist. I am obsessed with black women. I wake up and I live, eat, and breathe black women.
Yeah.
But I love all black people, and we got to talk about the fact that black men are just dying too quickly, too soon. We've talked about on this show losing black men to suicide and to other forms of internal community and self-oriented violences and things like that. But also we haven't talked about just kind of aging and weathering and the ways that we kind of normalize black men dying of heart attacks and hypertension and all these things in their 60s and younger. And I think I'm thinking about my dad having passed away in 2014. He was a very young guy. You know what I'm saying? He died of esophageal cancer in 2014. He was only 63 years old. Yeah. And it's wild because, when I posted that on Twitter and I was like, hey, black men are dying too soon, the first thing people said was they got to go to the doctor. Like, they're not taking care of their bodies. And that was exactly what happened with my dad. Like, he was very anti-Western medicine for good reason. And didn't trust doctors. And he was really sick. And he suffered for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know exactly how to feel about it or how to think about it. But I just think we need to have a conversation in the long term about black men dying in their 50s and 60s from, air quotes, natural causes. There's nothing natural about dying at the age when folks are considering retirement.
It's wild because, when Lance Reddick passed, it was like so out of the blue. I mean, I checked his IMDb because I was like, oh my God, like completely out of the blue. I looked, he has like multiple, I think it's over 7 projects like that he's already shot that haven't even come out yet. And so it's like, it's not like this is someone who had any kind of outward looking health issues or, anything that would be a flag, right? This was an active person working very regularly, right? And then for him to be gone from natural causes,
right?
Like you said, it's to me, it's one of those things. We need to look out for each other. We need to check in on each other.
Yeah,
we need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're all still mourning the loss of Chadwick Boseman. He was only 43 years old.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, this. Why are we not talking about this? Why is this not a bigger conversation? I think it's worth having an ongoing. It's so interesting how we waste so much breath talking about the ways that black men hate black women, but we don't have enough time to talk about the ways that black men can't even sustain their own life.
You said it all right there.
It concerns me. Where are our priorities? I just think it's interesting that so many black men can get on the internet and post all these stories about how they feel about light-skinned women and big booties and Kim Kardashian-esque looking people and all these things. But where are the conversations about taking care of black men and putting black men's health first? Mental health and physical health.
Yes.
Where are those conversations? It's just concerning to me. And then we normalize our fathers, not our grandfathers, but our fathers just dying before they even meet their grandkids. Make that make sense?
I can't.
Me either.
This podcast is supported by generous donations from our patrons and listeners. Become a supporter today by heading to www.patreon.com soundcloud.com/colorconvosmedia.
You can stream the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and SoundCloud. When you listen, please consider hitting that heart button, sharing, giving us a 5-star rating, and leaving some dope comments. This helps us with our page rankings and gets more listeners for the show. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. We're back.
And we are back.
Now, this is a rundown episode, so we're not going to hold y'all long.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things going on that we want to talk about.
Absolutely. And we should. And we will. And we are.
Now, the first thing I'm going to bring to the table is all this mess with TikTok.
I honestly, okay, so this TikTok thing, I thought it was a joke. I did not take it seriously. I was like, there's no way.
Well, there was a story where conservatives were mad at some other platform, and this was probably like maybe 6 months to a year ago, that sounded like TikTok, but wasn't actually TikTok. And so I think in my head, I thought this was still that, where they were mad at some other thing that wasn't TikTok. And then...
Sorry, let me light this joint, because this is crazy.
Lo and behold...
This is wild.
No, they're talking about real TikTok.
They're talking about real TikTok. They're talking about banning TikTok from the U.S.
It's already been banned in India.
And being considered in how many other countries?
I don't even know how many. It's like the UK.
UK, right.
And
here's the
everywhere.
Here's the thing. Let's get a background on it, right? We know that, listen, okay. We know China be doing some stuff, okay? We know China, Russia,
They got them balloons.
Listen, it's some interesting stuff going on. And I'm saying this quietly because maybe that'll keep us safer, you know what I'm saying, from the surveillance.
Mm-hmm.
My point being is that, like, that's concerning. And we saw China's handling of COVID. It's a lot of information coming out of China right now that is not great and is very scary, actually, about the risks that are being taken with people's actual lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand wanting to limit access to the American people with regards to the Chinese government. That
right.
It makes sense to me. I think where I'm struggling is because it's happening in this moment where we're seeing these conservative attacks on everything that seems, air quotes, woke.
Mm-hmm.
And now Twitter is gone because of that, right? Because of Elon Musk's obsession with Trump and obsession with conservatism and obsession with money and buying things.
And all the above.
So we had this beautiful space where folks were mobilizing one another and engaging with the world. And now we don't even have that shit anymore. And now it's like, okay, so now TikTok, which I would say has innovated social media, especially for, what's the generation after us? Z?
Yes.
And what's after Z? And beyond?
It's some kind of new name.
Do we call them and beyond? Generation Z and beyond? No.
Like Buzz Lightyear?
Like Buzz Lightyear.
No, I don't think that's how that works.
Oh, man. I'm going to call them that.
Okay, it works.
So when I say and beyond, just know who I'm talking about.
No.
Okay. But my point being that, this is a complicated conversation because I see merits in absolutely advocating for the types of free speech claims that people have around TikTok and social media in general.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, what folks often don't focus on is that our free speech is usually mediated by private industry.
Exactly.
Every time we get ready to say something, it's a corporation ready to sit there and brand it.
And that's what's so interesting about this particular case, because it's like the perfect situation to have this conversation, because
right.
It's not even just that it's an American company. It's that this is a foreign company.
Right.
Right. So all those conversations about free speech,
how do they apply here?
Right. Because the problem here is if y'all are not up on it, like I wasn't up on it until yesterday. The problem here is that TikTok is owned by a Chinese company.
Right.
It's called ByteDance. And so the problem is the way China works.
Right.
China's government could say, give me all the information on all your users.
Right now.
And that would mean literally half of America.
Yes.
Their information and the information that TikTok has.
Yes.
The government now has.
Correct.
And our government is saying that is a huge, huge
yes.
security risk.
Yes.
And it is.
It is.
And it's astonishingly, frighteningly real. And we have to really take these things seriously. And I think too often as a country, we don't.
As general people, we do not. And also because we have this kind of immediate satisfaction thing where it's like, oh, this is really cool. I'm going to give my information away. And I've had so many conversations where I'm asking questions like, oh, is that safe?
Mm-hmm.
And the response is, well, they already got it. Or something dismissive of the ways that we are continuing to be asked to give our information to the government that we don't understand.
We give our information away for everything. It doesn't even matter anymore.
And I'm not judging because I did that shit too. Because when that AI shit came out, I said, them pictures is pretty. And I put my fucking face in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I sure fucking did. I put my face in there. You know what I'm saying? And like, while I'm sitting here like, I don't know about 23andMe. I'm still tempted. I kind of want to do it. And a lot of my friends who said they weren't going to do it have done it. You know what I'm saying? So I want us to have this conversation not just about TikTok, but also about the ways that we've kind of really gotten comfortable with giving away our information. And it's getting really scary. Like the implications to me are looming. And I'm just hoping that we have more conversations about it.
Yeah, like I don't want to do no conspiracy theory shit. Like I don't want to go there. But the problem is, like you're saying, is we've given away so much, we've put so much out there.
Right.
It really only takes one of those things to go left to where there's a real issue. And I feel like COVID is a great example of where we thought, oh, we're so good, we're so safe, ain't nothing gonna happen, bop, 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 bop. And all of a sudden, one thing happened. It happened. And then it was fucking very real. And we was in the house for 2 years.
And that was that.
So it's like, let's just be aware.
Let's just open our eyes. That's it.
Now, what you got next?
Okay. So, I don't even know how to say this, but I'm going to say it. Are you listening to me? I'm going to say it.
I'm so ready.
Okay. So, go with me. Go with me back a couple Sundays to the Oscars. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that Till was not nominated and respected in the way it should be. The Woman King was not nominated and respected in the way it should. So I went to Instagram and I said, oh, this is wrong. This is bad. And one of the responses I got in my comment there was that Tyler Perry should make his own show.
His own award show.
And I went, ha, 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 and I shirked it off. The way I giggled, okay?
What did we say? It's like, we already got the NAACP awards.
I said we already got the NAACP awards. We already got the BET awards. Tyler is not equipped, okay? Nor is Lee Daniels. I think that was the other option that they set out.
Yes.
So let me tell you something. When this week I learned that, you know how something happened to a black man, like he was trying to buy CBS. I did not expect this week that those things would be true.
It's something about the news recently where you think it's The Onion and you realize it's CNN.
It's CNN, or it's just a lot of news sources that you actually read every single day, and they're just reporting. It's not a joke.
You're like, hold up.
It's not a Marlon Wayans skit. Okay, so this week, Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, the Daddy, Puff Combs put a bid in to buy BET.
Yes, he did.
And that in and of itself would be enough for this conversation to be like, what is happening? But there's more.
Oh, there's more.
Byron Allen, the looming Hotep godfather of Black America, has also put in a bid to buy BET. And that, adding Byron Allen to Sean P. Diddy, Puff P. Diddy, Daddy Combs seems substantial.
Seems wow.
But then I learned that actually Tyler Perry is truly and tangibly in this metaverse seeking to purchase BET, Black Entertainment Television. He wants to make it the Tyler Perry Network.
Tyler Perry presents BET. No, hold on.
I don't even watch Atlanta anymore. But I've watched the episode where he parodies Tyler Perry. I've watched it so many times. I think it's hilarious. Especially when they throw hot grits at him and he goes, no, my skin is hardened over time. I'm so used to this. Like, girl, what?
But hold on. Because real talk. I heard this news and I was like, this is 2023. But real talk. Real talk. half the shows on BET are Tyler Perry shows.
Right.
And Byron Allen does so much.
What does he want?
But he's trying to have like global domination.
Didn't he just buy the Griot? Didn't he own the Griot now?
He done bought up so much black shit. It's crazy. But
he's not even that black.
But this is my thing though, because I'm like, if any one of them actually bought BET,
here's the thing:
would it really change? Like it'd be what it already is.
I think we should be allowed to either vote as a black commission, or they should battle to the death. Like I want a jousting match. I want tight, skin tight spandex suits, the shorts jumpsuits. I want wrestling. I want limbs off.
And they can stream it on BET Plus.
On BET Plus, and so that we all have to subscribe, and then cancel our subscription 30 days later
after the free trial.
I want it to be like 300, but Tyler Perry presents. Give it to me.
Yeah, see, who would you put your money on?
I know it sounds strange, but Byron Allen.
I would too. Like my first instinct says Diddy, because Diddy is wild and he got that crazy eye.
No, the first instinct is Tyler, because he's just big. He could just lay on a nigga.
But Diddy got that crazy.
I don't think he got it no more.
That New York.
I think you know when Solange said, "I tried to fuck it away." I think he fucked it away.
Oh yeah,
I think he been sliding up in too many light skinned,
he over the hill,
nondescript, wafy women, and he don't really have that edge no more.
It's not the same.
He's not edgy.
But as we both just agreed, I really feel like Byron Allen would be
Byron
the dark
Allen.
horse.
I think you know why. Do you know why?
I want to hear your rationale.
There's no way you can be around white people that much for that long. And not age. He don't look no different.
No.
He doing something. He done sold him. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
That's what it is.
Illuminati.
Like, have y'all seen the new House Party movie?
Yep. It's like Kid Cudi. Yep.
It's like Kid Cudi. It's the fifth Byron Allen.
This is the sixth Byron Allen.
Oh my God.
Boom.
Breaking news, y'all.
Look, I like how we brought it around at House Party. We did watch that. Good job, Daren. We did watch House Party.
That was an interesting movie.
It was a cute movie.
It was interesting.
It was a cute movie. Let me tell you something. Any movie with LeBron in it, I'm interested in, because I want to see which LeBron he is. I want to see if he's the one that plays along the white guy who actually is kind of funny because all he has to do is make jokes, because I know he does that in the locker room.
He does.
Or if he's like dad LeBron, where I have to also do things emotional, where he struggles, which is funny because he's an actual dad, and I hear he's an amazing father.
Yeah,
but he cannot play a dad to save his life.
Can't play himself.
He can't play himself. He can't play himself unless he's making fun of himself, which is my other. When he's like, "This is a perfect hairline." I love that shit.
I
love it. I love LeBron. He's the king, and he knows he's the king, so he can make fun of himself in person. He can have his own face making fun of. Beyonce can't even do that.
She can't do that.
Beyonce can't even come out and be like, "Well, I'm just Beyonce. I'm just average." Everyone would be like, "Oh!" Like everyone would die.
Yeah.
Kane could be like, "Look at my hairline, y'all." We're like, "Ha ha ha ha." He's perfect.
Well, speaking of Beyonce,
I'm so sorry.
That was, you know what? You gave me the perfect segue, though. The perfect segue.
Right, I did. That was a beautiful segue. Alley-oop.
Alley-oop.
This was our watch House Party.
Gorgeous.
And I watched him play that game.
Where he got demolished. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
But, yeah, like as I said, speaking of Beyonce.
Yes.
Swarm is out. And it's funny that we're having this conversation about what you deemed the other night the Hotep Olympics to own BET. And I know this might be an unpopular opinion. I'm gonna say it anyway.
Go ahead, dude.
But we watched Swarm. Well, let me say this.
Did we watch Swarm?
Wait, we watched half of it together.
Or did Swarm watch us?
And then I promptly fell asleep. And then you watched it.
I gotta keep going. I'm here now. I'm soldiering through.
And then the next day said, you gotta watch it.
My students told me I had to watch it, and I listened to the children.
And after watching it, my reaction was, I need Donald Glover to stop making things.
Okay, so that was my reaction after he made anything. What was his stage name?
Childish Gambino.
Yeah. Okay. So like that too, like any of that. I've never subscribed to any of it. whatever the Kool-Aid is that he done slipped into y'all. Hey, listen, no judgment. You have your fun. Whatever he done slipped into y'all's drink, whatever he done did to y'all stick with it. It's not, I don't want that Kool-Aid.
It's not for me.
It's not my Kool-Aid.
It's like
it's an acquired taste.
When everyone says, we're having Kool-Aid, and you think it's going to be red or even maybe grape. And then they bring, like a pink one or lime green. And you're like, who gets that Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
But then you look around and everyone seems to be enjoying it.
Y'all like it. He's like, hey, would you like to have this agua fresca, banana flavor? And I'm like, absolutely not. And he's like, it's great. Taste it. And I'm like, absolutely not. And then I taste it and I'm like, this is fucking disgusting.
You're like, I knew it was going to be terrible.
But I look around the room and everyone's like, And I'm like, oh.
But we were having this conversation and we were saying, it's something, and I really hope I'm not offending nobody in this conversation.
What? You probably are. Go ahead. You do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. I don't care. I just feel like it's one of those things where, to me, Donald Glover seems like he's doing this fake deepness thing. Like, I'm so deep and I'm doing something so different. Yeah. And then everyone else has to go like, oh, wait, he's doing something deep. So I got to get on the train.
So here, let me, I'm going to do this. Hand me the baton.
Go ahead. Okay. It's past.
Tap me in. So here's what I think. So first of all, we haven't said anything about Swarm. So the main actress, Dominique Fishback, I'm not going to give no summary of the show. It's a very strange show. It's a very strange show. But it's about a crazed fan. Let's just say that. A crazed fan, and it very closely resembles the Beehive folks who are fans of Beyonce. Well,
and just so everyone's aware, at the beginning of every episode, it has like a title card that says, any semblance to real life is on purpose. So basically, they're telling you, we're trying to parody things that are really happening in the world. Right. Like, don't get it twisted.
That's all Donald Glover does, if we're being honest. That's all he knows how to do. He's unoriginal. He's not creative. So all he can do is look at something that already happened and try to make another version. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. That's all he has capacity to do. Which is why his analysis is always so shallow. Yes. Right. So the series is weird. The episodes are disjointed. If you loved Atlanta, you'll feel at home. And the only thing that drew me in was Dominique Fishback, because she's so strange. And to see her doing the facial expressions and the weird shit and just the single tear rolling down the face over some really strange, superficial, strange shit that is just made up shit, I was like, wow, this is acting. Like I fell in love with this awful person because she was doing it.
I mean, no cap. I was watching it and I was like, I hate everything about this. Yes. But at the same time, I was like, does she deserve rewards for this?
Right. Wasn't it complicated?
Like, I didn't know what to do with that feeling.
I appreciated her for bringing me there. Because you know what? She took something out of Donald Glover's hand and said, listen, baby, I'm a black woman. I got this. And I'm proud of that, right? But what I will say about the Donald Glover thing that you just said, right? This whole thing with his fake deepness. I think there's a market for that. Mm-hmm. I think that unfortunately, I think 90% of Twitter is fake deep. Yes. 89% of Instagram is fake deep. And 116% of TikTok is fake deep. We have an entire fleet of people who are now calling themselves academics and scholars because they've watched YouTube videos. Accurate. And this is no shade about access. Access is an absolute thing. But there's also study. And there's also rigor. And this is not me being elitist.
There's also definitions of words.
Right. This is not me being elitist. This is me saying honor our foremothers. If you're going to say that you are a black feminist scholar or activist or whatever, just read. Honor our foremothers. That's all I'm asking. I'm not talking about the canon, the white folks and all that shit. I'm saying that if you're going to be sitting here talking to black folk about their lives and their livelihoods and the implications for their lives, just read. Just read. Listen to our ancestors. Listen to what Tony said and Audrey said, Ida said. They've given us so many lessons. We don't have to make it up. And so when I look at what Donald Glover does, what bothers me about it is it's uninformed by a long history and a rich, rich culture of blackness and Black study and Black life.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying to enter into a conversation. It's as if you're standing somewhere with your friend who has the same credentials as you. Maybe you are both pro motorcyclists, or you're like, you know, expert fishers. And this guy walks up and is like, hey, I got this little worm on the end of my hook. Give me the award. And then he gets it. And it's concerning. That's all I'm saying.
I honestly, watching it, it was really one of those things where I was like, how did this get made? Like,
because enough people bought into the Donald Glover machine.
Right, because I hadn't realized at that point that it was Donald Glover. Because honestly, I was having those questions like in the first 10 minutes. I was like, how did they, who greenlit this? And then when I saw Donald Glover's name on it, I'm like, oh, that's how it got greenlit, because it's associated with him. Because, like you said, these episodes are so disjointed. Like, there is no storyline. And I found myself literally maybe every 2 or 3 minutes asking a question. Like, what? Why'd they do that? Who was that? Why would you think that that's the way to go?
And I love that you asked it out loud.
and then you catch yourself and you're like, I need to stop asking questions. And then a minute later, you're asking another question because it's just so confounding.
Yeah.
And that is my issue with Donald Glover, is I feel like anything that he has his name on, I'm just sitting there bewildered the whole time. And it's because of that fake deepness. It's because he's trying to portray some type of deepness when in reality what it is actually very basic.
Yeah.
And so there's all this fluff and all this dressing and all this extra stuff on top of it when it's really basic. Like this whole thing for Swarm, at the end I was like, oh, so this is just a story about belonging. And
it was that from the beginning.
Right, and it was that from the beginning, but that's the most basic route that you could take with, let me write a story about Beyonce fans.
Right. Here's the funny thing. It's hard for me. Okay. Y'all go be honest.
I'm ready.
It's hard for me to exist in a world where both Jordan Peele and Donald Glover are making things on my television. Now let me explain why. I never liked Jordan Peele. I didn't watch Key and Peele. I was never into his form of comedy. He seemed very much someone who would identify as mixed race as opposed to Black. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't think he's for me. And then I saw some of his stuff and I was like, and it never moved me. I didn't really laugh. But when this young man made Get Out, when this young man made Us, when this young man made Nope, he studied.
That's the difference.
He did so much work to not only honor the craft, but also he looked back at so much Black horror and Black culture.
Black Westerns. And worked with Black actors who understood the assignment. And he did the labor I think it takes to make really beautiful renditions and renderings of creepy and weird Black life. We're talking about Black horror, weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Aliens that's parasites in the sky and making nickels fly through not Delroy Lindo's head. And got Keke Palmer walking around with that lesbian afro. I don't know why everyone thinks that lesbians have. Oh, I don't have an afro. I don't know how. I had to catch myself. I was like, wait, do I have an afro? You dodged it. You did.
I was like, wait a second. But everybody think we got the Lori Lightfoot. We don't all have the Lori Lightfoot.
And that brings it back to Swarm.
Okay.
Because that lesbian afro is in Swarm, y'all.
But let me get back to this.
Go ahead. Continue.
So what I'm saying is I think that Jordan Peele is a corny dude. He, don't he sleep with white women and Asian women and stuff?
Yeah, he married to a white woman, I believe.
Right. So very similarly, typically to Donald Glover, it's kind of same arc of history. But they've made such different culturally iconic media because I feel it has to do with the research and the intention. And unfortunately, I think Donald Glover, having been the Kenya Barris, the Black friend to the white people, the one Pepper's little dab in the salt pile or whatever all his life, has been getting accolades from white people who enjoy this stuff, who enjoy watching this traumatic, awful black parody shit that he makes. And since he's done it for so long, and because we're in this moment of a lack of actual rigor and study, his type of production becomes a kind of baseline norm. And that's concerning to me. That's concerning to me. Like, real basic stuff becomes the benchmark in moments where folks are not studying.
Well,
in moments where folks are not engaging with our history and our culture and the images and renditions of us that have existed for the last century.
But this is the thing, right? So two things. Number one, like we always say, is, you know, everything black don't gotta be excellence.
No, it don't.
Black mediocrity is okay too.
Sure.
Right?
But we ain't gotta make trauma porn every time we make something.
But the thing about Donald Glover, and I'm not gonna act like I know this man and that we done hung out and I've asked him questions about how he came up and how he thinks about things. But just on paper, this is a dude who went to school. He went to NYU and got a degree in writing for film, right? But he came out of school and the first job he had, I believe, was on 30 Rock. Right? And no shade. I mean, it's hard to make it, right? Okay, you get in where you can fit in, right?
He probably loved that shit.
I'm sure he loved it. But I feel like when you look at early Donald Glover, everything that he did was, like you said, the pepper and the salt shaker.
Yeah.
Everything, you know, and again, no shade. You got to make it where you make it. But I feel like then he had a turn where everything was like, I now have to counter.
Now I'm black.
And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, leave us alone. Leave us alone. Stay over there.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I loved him on Community. I loved it.
He was great on Community. He was the black.
It was very funny.
Community. Yep.
But I feel like this is kind of, and again, this is just me making assumptions. I don't know. But I feel like this is also one of those things where when you're in these white spaces for so long and you kind of want to get out so bad, like you feel like you're boxed in and you feel like you're typecast and you feel like you have to do these things and you're like, but I'm actually black. You
know, somewhere he was growing up like, I'm a one day grow up, I'm going to put on a mask and I'm going to look like Michael Jackson and act on my own show. I'm going to do whiteface. They did blackface and I'm going to do whiteface. Ha, ha, ha.
That's just what he gets.
And now he's doing it.
And now he has a certain space in the entertainment industry, just like Tyler Perry,
just like Kenya Barris,
Lee Daniels,
just like Benya
Karis, just like all those people,
Daniels.
And again, at the end of the day, what we always have to remember is a lot of these people are propped up by white people.
They are.
Let me say it again. A lot of these people, a lot of these black entertainers, headliners that are known for making all this great, all this black content, are propped up by white people.
They are.
So, are we really here to say that they are doing the things that black people would realistically want? Or are they just the people that have been chosen to deliver things to us?
And listen. We understand that a lot of black folk love Atlanta and the content that Donald Glover produces. I get it.
And I'm not even saying all of it is bad.
I'm not either. I'm saying it raises interesting questions. I just think what I'm actually saying is that the substantive content that he continues to give us is always in the same lane. Mm-hmm. And it's a lane that I wish we didn't have to constantly traverse in order to have entertainment. I just wish that we could move in different spaces. I would love to see more of what Jordan Peele is doing, the fantasy, the fantastical. Ava DuVernay is doing a lot of this. She's doing both the regular and the fantastical. She's just like, listen, these are black folk on a farm. Look how beautiful it is. Mm-hmm. Like, I just love that kind of stuff. And I wish Donald could get to a place with himself where he could produce something like that.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
Me neither.
So, on that note, y'all, I'm still going to recommend that you watch Swarm.
I think you should watch it.
It's one of those things where afterward, I kind of feel like I could have gotten that time back in my life.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm going to still recommend that you watch it.
I'm different now.
Just so that you understand.
Yeah.
And so that you can have this series be done to you as it has been done unto us.
Is that a commandment? Thou shalt swarm to you as was swarmed to us. Donald Gloverations, the Nigalations,
Negalations,
Hotepalations, Why is it always Lations? There's also some Olympians in there. Hotep Olympians.
Nigga Olympians?
Nigga Olympians.
I like nigga Olympians.
I like nigga Olympians because it's giving the Olympic value as well.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a double.
Hotep Olympians. Hoteplians. We'll have to work on this. Let's workshop it.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right.
You can find my mom and dad, aka That Black Couple, on the web at thatblackcouple.com. That Black Couple is owned and operated by Color Combos Media. If you would like to help fund our content, sign up at www.patreon.com/colorcombosmedia. Please consider giving us $5 or $10 per month to help us build our platform and grow our organization. You can also give one-time donations at www.paypal.me/colorcombosmedia. All donations are welcome.
All right, so let's move into the reflection. I know we had a wonderful conversation just now, and I think this episode been kind of teetering on sad. So I want to, not make it sad again.
Let's end on an upbeat note.
But let's make it juicy and nice. Okay. So next week, March 31st, is Trans Day of Visibility.
Yes, it is.
And I'm really excited about this day. I think mainly because I feel like there were maybe a few years ago, maybe 5 to 7 years ago, where it was like, trans people exist. Let's put them on the cover of Time magazine and sit them on couches and ask about their genitals. Like, I don't want to live through that anymore. And as someone who has been constantly asked about their genitals and their reproductive organs, I'm hoping that when we talk about trans visibility, that we can now have more fruitful and meaningful conversations about what that looks like. I think I made a post about this a couple weeks ago with our last episode, but there's just so much beautiful work being done by trans and cis Black women. And there are folks who I think, have been working for so long at this point, like I remember when I first discovered Raquel Willis's work, that had to be over a decade ago. Mm-hmm. Sis been working, you know what I'm saying? Janet Mott, like I am so grateful I got to interview her back before her books came out, and to see her growth and her experiences over the last over a decade, you know what I'm saying? It's incredible. I want, I think, to move past the conversations on discovery, love people's interest in exploring trans folks' bodies and lives, and to just like honoring folks because they exist.
Yeah. And I think this moment is very, very important for a day like this, where now there's the movement to try and, shove these people back into the shadows.
Right.
And act like they don't exist, or as what that man's name, whatever his name was, like eradicate trans.
Oh my God.
Like there's all of these movements now. I think because there has been visibility, because there is kind of an understanding that trans people do exist, and understanding what that means, and that is something that's percolating through society. There's now this counter movement to say no,
right,
ignore it, look the other way. And I think days of visibility like this are important for that reason.
Right.
To remind people.
I also think, fuck that shit. Every day should be a day of visibility. Like,
yes.
I really think that the idea that you get one day to be trans invisible is wild. But I'm hoping that we're getting to a point now where these months and these days are less symbolic and performative and are more about, hey, like, let's challenge ourselves to not be shitheads the other 364 days of the year. Like, let's not make it this whole beautiful fanfare and ceremonial thing for one day, when every other day folks are being annihilated and haunted and preyed on. Like, let's have those conversations all year. But yeah, I hope we're getting there.
I think we're getting there. And when I think about the Trans Day of Visibility, I know there's a lot of people that get upset when you celebrate difference, when you highlight something.
That's so fucking weird.
It's so weird. But a lot of people do get upset to say, why do they get that? Or why do we got to call out them? Or whatever. But I think it's important to celebrate difference, but not to conflate difference to mean inequality, right? And when I say inequality, I mean inhumanity,
Right.
right? Like, we are all equally human. Cis, trans, gay, queer, red hair, Bigfoot,
What? I get red hair and big
small
feet.
pinkies,
Damn.
whatever it is.
This is getting real.
We're all equally human,
Yeah.
but within that humanity, we do need to celebrate the differences. We do need to celebrate the things that make us who we are and how we're not homogenous.
Yeah, differences. I mean, I made a post about this a couple weeks ago, but one of the things I really love about Audre Lorde is her embracing a difference and how important it was for her to talk about difference in her work. And she's just like, bro, that's a site of opportunity. Like, how great is it that we are not homogenous? It gives us opportunities to get to know one another, to work, to love one another, to show in intentional care. If we were all homogenous, we'd have no reason to actually engage with one another as human beings, because we'd already know everything we need to know about one another,
Mm-hmm.
right? We know each other's needs and concerns and wants, and that sounds miserable, right? But what we are is we're diverse and we're abundant, and that abundance for some people is scary because it also means accountability, right? It also means acknowledging the ways that your position or your phenotypical life and your experiences give you privileges that other folks don't have, right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts to reveal things about how we all move through the world. And if we could all just be grown-ups and just have those conversations and move on, it'd be so great. It would be so great. It'd be so great. Because differences are not, they're not inherently violent. They're only violent when they're weaponized.
That's really interesting when you say it that way. They're only violent when they're weaponized. They're also, and that one of the weaponizations is when people look at difference as an issue or as a problem.
Absolutely.
Right? Like,
As a
me
threat.
being different means I have to eradicate you.
Right.
It means that you can't have the same opportunities as
Right.
me. It means that I'm even just going to look at you
Right.
differently than I look at somebody else. That is really the only time when it actually becomes violent.
Yeah. And that's a choice.
Thank y'all for listening. Before you go, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ThatBLKCouple, on Facebook at ThatBlackCouple, and look us up on the internet at www.thatblackcouple.com.
Bye.